What is going on, everybody? It's the Front. I'm here for a Clash of Champions predictions as it is coming to you live on the WWE Network this Sunday from Charlotte, North Carolina. It has been just one of those pay-per-views that we're going to have that's going to have 11 matches. Now, I'm going to get the elephant out of the room right away. We did have a 12th match, which was the King of the Ring, as you see here. But the King of the Ring, as of right now, has been scheduled for Monday. It was kind of funny because WWE put a tweet out for the King of the Ring saying it's going to happen at Clash of Champions. But in the picture, it showed Chad Gable versus Baron Corbin on Monday Night Raw next week. So I don't know which one it is. So we're going to throw this one out here just in case it does happen. I've said it all along, and it would not surprise me. Baron Corbin is winning the King of the Ring, whether it's on Sunday or Monday. It's been set in stone since day one. It's been the King of the Ring in the first 2 weeks. 2 weeks were fantastic. Outside of Sami Zayn versus Cedric Alexander, which was absolutely the shortest and weakest match of the entire tournament, up until, of course, this past Tuesday. I had no complaints of the first 2 weeks of the King of the Ring. Then you had Elias beats Ali. You had Baron Corbin beat Cedric Alexander. Andrade lost to Chad Gable. These three guys who lost should have been in the position for the King of the Ring to skyrocket on them. On top of that, we had a double pin with Ricochet and Samoa Joe, leading to a triple threat match in the semifinals, which was not a bad match. It was pretty much there to showcase Ricochet in a match where he's a smaller guy versus two big guys, and it didn't work. Ricochet, here's the thing. Ricochet should be over like Grover. He shouldn't be somebody you have to showcase in a big match. So for them to do that and have us go through that, I think the only reason they did it is because they didn't want to try and have Baron Corbin versus Ricochet one-on-one. They wanted to have that third guy in there to pick up the load because Cedric Alexander versus Baron Corbin might have been a good match, but they didn't want to sit there and try and do it again, see it, because Baron Corbin versus Cedric Alexander felt like a lightning in the bottle type match for Baron Corbin. It was a good match. It was probably his best match so far on Monday Night Raw or on the main roster, or probably since he's been called up. But they didn't want to have that, well, lightning only strikes once, so let's try and hide him in this triple threat match, and we'll go from there. So now we have Baron Corbin versus Chad Gable. This is going to lead to a bunch of short jokes after the fact, because Baron Corbin is going to win, and they're going to just be like, well, and then when we get to SmackDown on Tuesday, if it is on Tuesday, you're going to have some heel come out and was like, oh, Chad, you were doing so well, you had such a great King of the Ring, but you came came up a little bit short, and add more short jokes from there. So if it happens on Sunday or Monday, the King of the Ring is going to Baron Corbin. We all have to bask in the King of the Ring of King Corbin. Now, on to the show. We have, in our first match, the triple threat match for the Cruiserweight Championship. It has come out recently that the Cruiserweight Championship and 205 Live is not yet, but soon, going to be folding into NXT, which I think is the best thing for these guys. These guys have not had a fair shake since the Cruiserweight Classic. Yes, you had Neville, who was there, who did fantastic work as a heel. He was the best thing on the entire Cruiserweight brand when it was part of WWE, when it was a part of Monday Night Raw, 205 Live, anything with that. Then he walked out. They gave it to Dumbfuck, whose name shall not be named here. He held it hostage, losing it to, I believe, Kalisto once, and I believe he lost to Kalisto once, got it back, and then held it until January, where it was supposed to be him versus Cedric Alexander in a match at the Royal Rumble, which undoubtedly he was going to win. So he got suspended and fired for sexual assault allegations against him. But then we had a nice tournament, a great tournament, something I actually tuned into 205 Live to see. I didn't review it, of course, because it was right into when I started reviewing things, but it was just something I didn't review. But it was a good tournament, better than what we've seen with this King of the Ring, I'm just telling you right now, because Triple H ran that tournament. However, we got to WrestleMania weekend, and we got Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali in a great WrestleMania pre-show match. And the 205 Live has just been it's just been when they say glass ceiling and some guys can't break through a hard glass ceiling they give them. 205 Live has had that hard glass ceiling above their head. Very rarely are they not on the pre-show. The best match they've had not on the pre-show was Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Murphy last year during Survivor Series when it was the break match between Raw and SmackDown matches on that night. So 205 Live has just not had a fair shake. During the Mixed Match Challenge last year, which happened after SmackDown Live for about 2.5 months, 205 Live ended up being taped before SmackDown. It was shown an hour before NXT the next day. And the crowd reaction was better. The crowd was more hyped for it. The crowd was more ready for it. And then as soon as the Mixed Match Challenge was over, Vince was like, I want live content on the network, so we're just going to take that away and put it back right after SmackDown, which killed any chance of 205 Live getting to where it needed to be. Positives for 205 Live is from the time that it started to the time whenever it ends is Neville Savan, Cedric Alexander, Buddy Murphy, Mustafa Ali, and Drew Gulak, actually, when you watch him in NXT, has actually been one hell of a heel. Drew Gulak, when they first started 205 Live, they had the character, the PowerPoint presentations, and him being this, I want to make a better 205 Live. Well, now he's just as killed, calculated. I'm gonna just put the Gulak Dragon Sleeper on you, and I'm gonna make you tap. So that as well. And also, you've seen Kushida there this past Tuesday, Roberto Carrillo, who's in this match. Isaiah Swerve Scott's been on there twice. And it's just 205 Live's had positives, but it's like so many more negatives and so many more detractions to its positives. So 205 Live for very few is going to be missed. It hardly ever hit the top 10, the top 20 in watched shows on a weekly basis on the WWE Network. So it's not going to be something that's really missed. Now, when they go to Full Sail, and I know I'm getting off track here, and I want to put my prediction in, but I just wanted to let this out there that when it goes to Full Sail, these guys are going to get that reaction they deserve. They're going to be able to show us what they can do. They're going to be able to have the matches that Triple H is going to want them to have. These guys are going to be built up. Maybe this is going to be on TakeOver instead of on a pay-per-view. It won't be on the pre-show anymore, and unfortunately, it's going to hurt takeovers, in my opinion, because you get 6 matches on takeovers, and 5 of them are, well, you get 5 matches on takeover, my bad, 5 matches on takeover, and 4 of them already are title matches. Whereas you add the Cruiserweight Championship, that means all 5 matches are going to be title matches here on out. And I just hit my microphone and walked it off its thing. That's just beautiful. We're not editing that out. That's just fun stuff right there. But yes, so takeovers are going to be 5 matches unless they expand it and give us a 6th match. The Cruiserweight Championship, though, we'll be able to flourish. We'll be able to get. Like, we'll see Drew Gulak versus Raul Mendoza, which, in my opinion, Raul Mendoza should have been brought up to 205 Live while 205 Live has been a big thing. He can go after that championship. A guy like Kushida can go for that championship. He's been junior heavyweight champion and the IWGP junior heavyweight champion multiple times. He could be the cruiserweight champion. And with them being integrated into NXT, it doesn't feel like a demotion to those who come up from NXT because they're going to have more exposure. They're going to be on USA Network, not on the WWE Network. It's going to be a lot much, like the 205 Live Cruiserweight division is going to be a lot better off in NXT than it would be going to Raw or SmackDown. Because if Kane Dunn and Vince McMahon, damn it, got their hands on the Cruiserweights again, we will be back to where we were before WrestleMania time season last year. Now, when it comes to this match, it's no doubt about it. It looks like to me that it's going to be Drew Gulak. I think that this guy, if they're going to be integrated in NXT, needs to be the guy holding the championship on whenever that first episode of NXT has the Cruiserweight division. He should be the one holding that championship going into possibly TakeOver War Games if they're going to have the Cruiserweight Championship on that TakeOver. He needs to be the guy holding that championship. So Drew Gulak beats Humberto Carrillo and Lince Dorado in this match, no doubt about it. Then we have ourselves the Tag Team Championships for the women. We're just going to get the Tag Team titles out of the way as we go. As we have Twisted Bliss versus Fire and Desire. Yes, I'm calling them Twisted Bliss because I think that's a good name. Yes, I know it's the Alexa Bliss's finisher, off the top rope, which is just an absolute eyesore. I never liked her Twisted Bliss finisher. But Twisted Bliss versus Team Fire and Desire. This one, it just, well, I know it's usually WWE etiquette if you look strong on the TV. On TV, you lose on pay-per-view, and Nikki Cross did look strong this past Tuesday, beating Mandy Rose in not a really good match, but she beat Mandy Rose. So, could we see Fire and Desire win these tag team titles? Wouldn't surprise me, and I wouldn't be against it. I mean, it gives the tag team championship something, and we'll have to see. But I'd have to say probably going with, I would want to say Fire and Desire, but I think Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, the Twisted Bliss, is going to retain the tag team championships. What I think is actually going to open the show, and I should have started with this, was the tag team championships for Monday Night Raw. Why would I think this match is going to start off the show? Simply because these two, Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman, are going to be facing each other later in the night for the Universal Championship. This one's more academic to me. I'm pretty sure this one's going to be straightforward. Rudolph is going to win the championship. There is absolutely no reason that the tag team champions should be able to keep the title, or going to keep the titles going into the main event. I just don't see it happening. This one is going to be one that I feel that Seth Rollins is going to get run over or something. There's going to be some kind of miscommunication, some malfunction at the junction, or whatever you want to say, between Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman, and one's going to cost the other one the tag team championships. Adds fuel to their match later in the night, as I'm sure halfway through the show we'll get Sarah Shriver or one of the other bitches out in the back who have an attitude towards wrestlers when they ask them questions. We'll go up to these guys and try to ask them a question about what happened. It's going to come. These guys are going to start arguing, and then they'll just lead to the title match later in the show. New Day versus the Revival. This one really hasn't had much build. The Revival, of course, helping Randy Orton beat the hell out of Kofi Kingston over the last few weeks. I don't see, it's just one of those ones that's yes, Xavier Woods has been out with a quote-unquote knee injury, and Big E hasn't really done anything since his match against Randy Orton. There really hasn't been a build for this match. I know it's SmackDown versus Raw, and quite honestly, if the Revival win when we get to the draft, they might be on SmackDown going into October. So, I don't know. This one, I think the New Day are going to win for the simple fact that it is SmackDown versus Raw, and there's no reason for the New Day to lose the tag team titles to a Raw team, especially with one of my predictions later in the show, and I'll get to that later. But I say the New Day is going to win this one. The Revival, of course, are on their way out as far as we know. I'm hoping they're on the way out because they deserve better than what WWE's done with them. But this is it should be a good match if you let these guys do what they can do. Revival, New Day, I'm going with the New Day. Rowan versus Roman Reigns, the most convoluted, overbooked, confusing storyline of the 2019. When we get to the end of this year, if you do a top 10 crazy or confusing storylines in all of professional wrestling, this is going to be number one. This one started back during the build towards SummerSlam. We had a thing. Oh, Roman Reigns is going to tell us who he's going to challenge for SummerSlam, and we hit this weird backstage segment of Kayla Braxton waiting where they usually do the interviews. We cut to Roman walking that way. We cut back to Kayla, cut back to Roman, and then all this stuff falls over Roman Reigns, and we don't know who did it at the time. We all for us thought it was going to be Daniel Bryan because it was rumored that Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns were supposed to have a match at SummerSlam, which got nixed because of the fact that this storyline started way too late. Then, of course, we get to Raw. I believe the next Monday, someone tried to hit Roman Reigns' car, trying to hit him, and that was the only two attacks that happened to Roman. They didn't continue having crazy shit happen to him. Maybe a light falls as he's walking past it, something like that. Nothing else happened after the first 2 weeks. It was just who did it. Buddy Murphy got himself a little bit of TV time, got in the King of the Ring, had a great match against Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, and Ali, of course, that being part of the King of the Ring. Then we get the Doppelganger, what the fuck was the point of that? What was the fucking point of the doppelganger that segment of this entire angle? This thing has been convoluted. This thing has been all over the place. Rowan turned out to be part of it. Roman Reigns gets attacked by Rowan 2 weeks before, like last week. And Rowan says, I did it on my own, no one controlled me. The problem with this entire storyline is we still don't know who drove the forklift. There is the video of the scaffolding thing falling onto Roman. And when it shows a guy, it shows Rowan standing up as he pushes crates over Roman. Again, I fucking hate this feud because it's Rowan versus Roman, and you're gonna get that shit mixed up. But they still have not shown us the other side. Who was driving the goddamn forklift? That is still a question that hasn't been answered and nobody addresses. Who was on the other side driving the forklift? However, Roman and Rowan did have a fight this past week. They brought around, and now we have this match. And honestly, as well as everyone else knows, this is a foregone conclusion. Who is winning between Rowan and Roman Reigns? If you think it's Rowan, you are out of your mind. Roman wins this one. I don't know how Rowan is as a single star. He's always been a part of something. The Wyatt family, the Bludgeon Brothers, the Eco Warriors. I don't know what he is going to be. Where does Daniel Bryan fit into all this? Daniel Bryan got put with an iron claw through the announce table a week and a half ago, and he hasn't been seen since. So, is he going to get involved? Is he going to be the one that help Roman Reigns help Roman win this match or cost Roman this match? As it stands right now, Roman Reigns is winning this. It'll be a missed spear, a Superman punch, spear bouncing off the ropes, 1, 2, 3. Most talked about match of the show. Now we're going to go to the Women's Championship for Monday Night Raw. Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, of course, made a return after SummerSlam. She beat the hell out of one woman, which was Natalya, and then she beat the hell out of Becky Lynch, hitting her on the back of the head. This one is going to be academic, I believe. I think Becky Lynch has held the title long enough. There are people turning on Becky, and I think it's time for a babyface Becky Lynch to chase a Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks, this could be, if they give Sasha the title here, she needs to hold it until WrestleMania. None of this, oh, she's going to win the title of Clash of Champions and then lose it a week later on Monday Night Raw. None of that shit. You give this woman, if she wins on Sunday, you give this woman a lengthy championship title reign that she is more than deserved or have more than earned in her time in WWE. She wins, no doubt about it. It's time for Becky to say bye-bye to the Raw Women's Championship. She's held it since WrestleMania. She, along with Kofi Kingston, have been the two most protected champions in the entire company. And her taking a loss to a Sasha Banks, maybe Bayley helps Sasha. Maybe something happens, who knows, but I'd say Sasha Banks is winning this match. Moving on to the other four horsewoman match, Sasha Bayley versus Charlotte Flair. Now, when this match was announced, I'm like, it's in Charlotte's hometown, and there's no way she's not walking out as the 10th-time champion. However, this is news that I didn't know, that a couple weeks after this event, they're going to be in Bayley's hometown. Don't you think WWE would rather have Charlotte Flair win the Women's Championship in Bayley's hometown, embarrass Bayley in front of her family? So, especially with the fact that Charlotte Flair won the match on Monday, and that tag team title match, which was tag team match, that tag team match, it was absolutely boring. It was absolutely atrocious. I don't know what was up with the four horsewomen. They should have been. We've seen better from these four women, and we should have seen better. We should expect better from Bayley, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. And the match, it just felt like, until like the last 2-3 minutes of that match, it just felt slow, sluggish, like they were just going through the motions. They just wanted to get the match over with. I expect these two title matches to be better than the four horsewomen tag team match they had this past Monday, but with the news and the fact that they're going to be in Bayley's hometown not too long after this event, and WWE loves embarrassing baby faces in their hometown. They've done it before to Bayley. They didn't do it the last time Bayley was there. I think Bayley won a big won a match or something in her hometown. it would not surprise me if Charlotte loses this match, gets a rematch in Bayley's hometown, and Bayley loses the Women's Championship then. So, I might be going against the grain here, but I think Bayley's winning this match because she's going to drop the title to Charlotte in an embarrassing fashion or something at her home. So, Charlotte Flair is not going to be a 10-time Women's Champion yet. Cedric Alexander versus AJ Styles. There is nothing to this match. This one is pretty much academic to me. AJ Styles is winning this, no problem. I see the only reason this match got thrown together is because AJ Styles has to defend the United States Championship on Clash of Champions because every championship has to be defended, which is 10 matches out of the 11, by the way. So Cedric Alexander, I can see him maybe in a proper build to win the United States Championship, but I don't see it being this time. AJ just won the right. I know we're saying the same thing as we said with Ricochet versus AJ Styles in their first match. But AJ just won the title recently. He's a hell of a heel. He's the only title holder in the OC. If you take the title off him now, the OC look like bigger jokes than they already were. So I'm going with AJ Styles over Cedric Alexander. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not time for Cedric. Give this guy it's not going to be clean. For all I know, this could be Kofi Kingston type / Randy Orton like we saw at SummerSlam, where something happens and these guys get double counted out or double DQ'd or something, and we get to Hell in a Cell between these two. No, it's not going to be in a Hell in a Cell match. It doesn't deserve it. But I think something's going to happen that AJ Styles retains his championship, and then we get to Hell in a Cell, and that is where Cedric Alexander wins the United States Championship. I could be wrong, but I'm going with AJ Styles. Shinsuke Nakamura versus The Miz. This one I have to flip a coin on because, quite honestly, I just don't care. Nakamura has done nothing with the championship. Miz is going to do absolutely nothing with the championship. If he wins the championship, this match just has nothing for me. Like, Nakamura, you just can't put Nakamura on TV after him winning the championship. Well, when did Nakamura win the championship again, by the way? I can't even remember. That's how bad it is. Was it at Money in the Bank? Was it at Backlash? Was it at Payback? I don't even know what event he won it at. However, this one I can totally see them because WWE likes to be petty as fuck and they want to change history. That's why the New Day are recognized as the longest reigning tag team champions in all of WWE. Chris Jericho has the most title reigns in all of WWE for the Intercontinental title. Miz has one more to catch him. He is at 8. Jericho's at 9. 10 if you count the IWGP Heavyweight in IC title, but nobody counts that in WWE. Miz wins this, keeps the title for a little while, probably keeps it till October 4th. Have a rematch between these two. Nakamura wins it back, and then Miz wins it again to have 10 title reigns, and there you go. So Miz is winning the championship. I don't see any other reason why you wouldn't have him win the championship because there's no reason to. Yes, he's a Raw superstar, but I could see him losing it on the 20th anniversary of SmackDown on October 4th, which is way past that. But yes, I'm going with The Miz. On to the world title matches here. We have the WWE Championship, Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. This one has been 10 years in the making, and then some. This match has been personal. These guys have been feuding since right before SummerSlam. Of course, this all goes back to 10 years ago when Kofi Kingston put him through a table. It was supposed to be his rocket ship to the top. And they had a match at SummerSlam that, I swear, I had never seen a referee count 10 to the outside as fast as that referee did. They brawled, Kofi beat him up with a kendo stick, and now we lead here. This match, I am two minds. One, Kofi's losing that title between now and Hell in a Cell. 2, this match, in my opinion, is going to be another screwy finish. This match, if any, because Hell in a Cell, of course, is next month, if any feud that we have on the payroll right now for WWE, for any feud that they have going, this feud, outside of Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon, which I hope the fuck is done, Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton needs Hell in a Cell. The only way you end this entire feud is inside Hell in a Cell. Randy Orton I'm just gonna say it. Randy Orton wins the match on Sunday. Randy Orton is your new WWE champion, but it's not over between him and Kofi Kingston. No automatic rematch clauses are a thing. We know that, but they do bend that rule every once in a while. Just ask the idiotics. But I'm going with Randy Orton. Kofi's had the championship since WrestleMania, as I said, with him and Becky. They're the most protected champions we've had in a long time. But it's time for him to drop the title. He's held it long enough. He's disgraced it long enough. Acting like a child, throwing pancakes around while he's WWE champion. Stuffing pancakes between himself and the WWE championship is an absolute disgrace. So, Randy Orton's winning. But somehow, between now and Hell in a Cell, this feud will continue. Because this is just a normal singles match. This doesn't feel like a blow-off. They've been feuding since before, towards SummerSlam. They had that heated thing through SummerSlam. Kofi put him through a table again. They wanted to recreate what they did before 10 years ago. This is not a blow-off match. If you want it to be a blow-off match, you don't book it as another singles match. The blow-off match would be inside Hell in a Cell because you can't go past that. If this feud goes to Hell in a Cell, inside Hell in a Cell, then this is a blow-off. This is absolutely a blow-off at Hell in a Cell. So this match, I see Randy Orton winning it. If he doesn't win it here, he wins it at Hell in a Cell, inside Hell in a Cell. And then the most boring main event of all time, Braun Strowman versus Seth Rollins. By the time this match gets there, they will no longer be tag team champions. So, I'm going with Seth Rollins. Braun Strowman is not ready to be champion. He's never going to be ready. They have fucked him over way too much for anyone to actually care about Braun Strowman being WWE Universal Champion. So, I don't care how this match goes. This match is just... I don't care about this match. I should. There's no heat to it. They're both baby faces. They just respect each other. This match just has nothing for me. I'm going with Seth Rollins. Him versus The Fiend is a much better match than Braun Strowman versus The Fiend. Braun Strowman's just always going to be... He's always going to be a bridesmaid. He's never going to be a bride. He's never going to be WWE Universal Champion or WWE Champion. I say the tag team titles is as far as Braun Strowman goes when it comes to being a champion. But that is all of my predictions. Let's go over them again. AJ Styles over Cedric Alexander. Twisted Bliss over Fire and Desire. Roman Reigns over Rowan. Sasha Banks over Becky Lynch. The Miz over Shinsuke Nakamura because WWE is some petty motherfuckers. New Day over The Revival. Gulak over Lindsay Dorado and Humberto Carrillo. Randy Orton over Kofi Kingston. Seth Rollins over Braun Strowman. Rudolph over Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins. And Bayley over Charlotte Flair. And hit that subscribe button. Comment down below. Like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at twitch.tv/TheFranceClub. Let me know what your predictions are for Clash of Champions coming to you this Sunday on the WWE Network. As I said too, and I'll throw it in there again, if the King of the Ring is on Sunday as well, then I say Baron Corbin, as I have said since the very beginning of this entire thing. It was all just who he was facing from SmackDown. But that is going to be all. I'll see you guys Sunday afternoon for Unscripted, and then of course Clash of Champions. Depending on how long this goes, because it's an 11 match card, and I don't think these are going to be short matches. It's either I will have predictions on like Sunday night, early Monday morning, or I'm going to have them up at noon on Monday afternoon, depending on how this goes, because WWE pay-per-views like this are usually draining as fuck, and I don't know if I want to sit here after a 5-hour pay-per-view trying to go over what the hell WWE put out there. But that is all. I will see you guys later, and you guys have a good one.